Do you want to discover more joy, peace, and freedom with food, exercise, and your body? Here we bring a compassionate, holistic, and sustainable approach to fitness so you can fully enjoy the life you want and express your unique self with the world. I'm Michelle Roscoe, and I want to help you find fitness freedom. I'm so glad you're here. Why you don't need another diet or a drill sergeant in your health and your fitness. I like making new friends. Having traveled around the world from my first international trip as an infant to visiting churches all around the U.S. as a kid, to roaming around Europe between semesters in grad school, to backpacking around Asia and New Zealand with my partner at the time, I've met a lot of people. A lot of people. And one thing I've learned about people is to never assume. Also, I've learned that everyone carries these inner beliefs and stories, experiences, and backgrounds that form those beliefs. And we don't really know a person until we get to know them. You can't make judgments based on appearances. You can get gut feelings from people, but I've learned to always give people time to show you who they are. And as Maya Angelou says, which I love, or said, when people show you who they are, believe them. But you got to give them a chance. So while I was browsing the baking section of a grocery store one Thursday afternoon, thinking about what to make for dinner for my girlfriend and me, and I was interrupted from staring at the walnuts by a stranger, an older man, I decided to stop my podcast and listen to what he had to say. He asked me where I was from, and somewhat offended because I've had a whole lifelong I've had so many experiences of people misunderstanding where I'm from. I still decided to give the gentleman some airtime. So as we talked, he told me how he was a citizen of the earth, he traveled around the world, and he was an intercultural consultant. He has spent decades teaching people about culture and training people in how to work in different cultures from their own. At the end of our conversation, he suggested we connected. And I was hesitant, like, who's this person? Is this really, something that's valuable? I have no idea. I still said yes. And it's not something I would have said yes to a few years ago, but I've learned the value of connections and relationships, especially being a business owner. I'm a little extroverted, so I decided to get his number, Patrick, and reconnect. And it took over a month till we finally did meet up, but we ended up connecting at a coffee shop, and our conversation made us feel like kindred spirits. He told me of his nomadic adventures in the 1980s, how he lost everything he had on a trip to India, including his passport, how he suffered from severe illnesses in a noisy room with low walls for barriers and a hole in the floor for a toilet, how he traversed the Himalayan mountains in the middle of winter dressed in summer clothing, and how he went to multiple countries and traveled around the States throughout his life, had different jobs. It was fascinating. And I'm so glad that I said yes to the connection because I made a new friend. During the conversation, he also asked me about my background, and sharing it made me realize and remember how much I love travel and exploration, and how at my heart I'm a nomad. We enjoyed our new friendship so much that we met again today. And this time he shared more about his knowledge on culture. And having been a consultant on this for decades, I was open to hearing what he had to say. Consciousness, he emphasized. He shared over his tan creamy latte in a mason jar, because we are in Madison, and my black, acidic, somewhat bitter coffee in a red mug, how most intercultural trainers focus on training people on what to do and what not to do. These are the taboos to do in a new culture. This is what you should say. This is what you shouldn't say, when they're teaching people on how to relate with other cultures, with other countries. And he shared how he focuses on instead revealing the underlying beliefs and perspectives that shape behavior. So instead of just telling, his trainees, you should do this, you shouldn't do this, he tells them why people do what they do, what their beliefs are, what about their culture makes them do certain behaviors. He told me how culture is not conscious. We're not conscious of our own culture unless we learn about it, which is so true. Something I've picked up from being multicultural and traveling around the world and seeing different cultures around the world. And I told him, as I understood his approach, that it's exactly how I coach my clients. I coach my clients on understanding how and why to eat what they're eating or to train how they're training, not just what to do. And to be honest, I added, not everyone likes that. A lot of people, when they come to me for training or for fitness or for coaching, they want me to tell them the rules. They want me to tell them exactly what they're supposed to eat, when they're supposed to eat it, how much they're supposed to eat. They tell me, get on my ass if I'm not doing my workouts, be hard on me, yell at me if I'm slacking. And I think it's because most people think of trainers and nutritionists like that. But we, my new friend and I both, take a different approach to our work. We focus more on helping people understand why they're doing what they're doing, the beliefs behind it, the education behind it. Why? Because when you understand the beliefs and principles and science behind what you're doing, you understand why you're taking specific actions. So it becomes internalized. It becomes something that you want to do. It becomes something that you do intrinsically. It becomes conscious. And when your decisions are conscious, you don't need a strict diet to follow in order to keep you in line. You don't need to be told what to do. You don't need a drill sergeant to make sure you do everything just right. You do it from a place of understanding. You do it from a place of consciousness, desire, and free will. This is why I don't give meal plans to my clients. This is why I don't shame my clients when they miss a workout. It's why instead I provide a safe space to practice new habits and fail and recover. It's why I emphasize mindset and education based on science and research and studies and experience with plenty of room for individual variability. Why I coach one-on-one and in groups so you learn as you go for yourself. It's why I value self-trust and self-efficacy in my training rather than my clients over relying on me or even a specific ideology or relying on someone else to make them healthy. I want my clients to trust in themselves, to have the tools and strategies to make choices from a place of consciousness and desire. So, here are 3 practices I want to give you to help you gain more consciousness, awareness, and mindfulness in your own health journey wherever you're at, so that you're not doing things from a place of, oh, I need someone else to tell me what to do, or I won't do it on my own, or I can't trust myself around a bag of cookies. All of that stuff. Instead of feeling powerless or out of control, you can be more conscious and come from a place of understanding and inner empowerment. And then use your wisdom and your judgment and your skills to make the best choice for you in that moment. That's what I'm talking about. So here are 3 practices that I want to give you. And I will say that they're not necessarily easy. They're really simple, but they're not super easy because we usually want fast answers. We want a quick answer. We want immediate results. We don't care about what happens years later or months later. We just want the results right now. But if you're interested in cultivating more inner awareness, more self-trust, if you want more inner peace and joy in your fitness, use these 3 practices, all right? So number 1, get curious. Get curious. This is one of the best skills you could have. Get curious. So here are some questions you could start with or try on. Why do you eat the way you do? Why do you eat the way you do? Why do you have certain ideas around exercise? And do you even know what kind of ideas you have around exercise and movement? What do you find yourself saying when someone mentions exercise or around the topic of exercise? What does your brain say? And why do you say that? Where are those thoughts coming from? Who or what has shaped your views on your body? This is a big one. I'm sure you can answer some things off the bat, but go a little bit deeper. Why is your view on health and fitness the way that it is? Ask questions without the need to find a right answer or to condemn yourself if you have a wrong answer, or even if you don't have any answer at all. That's okay too. We don't like that, but just get curious about what actually is, not what you think is there, what you keep repeating as being there. Get curious about what actually is and why. Number 2, get quiet. You can't hear yourself when there's so much noise and just habitual thoughts. And our brains their job is to think. Their job is to keep us safe. Thank you, brain. Thank you so much. But we need to go past that. We need to get quiet. We need to find space to just be with our thoughts and our hearts and our guts and our brains, all of it, and to allow it, give it air. Give your questions and your thoughts that space. Don't drown them out with music or podcasts or videos or bustle. Dare you to be quiet. I dare you to be quiet. I dare you to be quiet, to settle into silence and to listen to what comes up. I know it's a little uncomfortable and it's a little scary, and you might have 101 or maybe 1,025 reasons to not do so. Your brain will come up with those reasons. Do it anyways. Get quiet. Number 3, get humble. Not knowing is hard, and getting away from sure rules is difficult. Getting away from what you think is right or wrong around food or exercise or your health or your body, and suspending that and making space for some insurity and being able to hold space for that, it's challenging. It's challenging to admit you don't know everything. Uncertainty is humbling, but embrace it, because curiosity, quietness, and humility lead the way to discovery. And when you discover a new way to see health, your body, food, fitness, really anything, discovering a new way to see it is liberating. And you realize how small you are. And in that smallness, you also realize how empowering knowledge is and how much possibility is out there. When you let go of what you think you know, you allow space for growth and for better results. So if you're struggling with some aspect of your health or your relationship with food, if something about what I said resonated with you around, I can't get myself to do something unless someone is there, or I can't trust myself with this X type of food. If you're struggling with exercise, maybe you're not doing enough in your eyes, or maybe you're doing too much, maybe you're going from extreme to extreme, I encourage you to try these 3 practices. Get curious, get quiet, get humble. Einstein said, no problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it. Sometimes it takes a big struggle for us to become more conscious, and we can be grateful for those lessons, but we can also intentionally open ourselves to new levels of thinking and seeing that help us grow. So what do you need to ask? How can you make space for those answers or non-answers, and how can you humbly open yourself to what you find? New, joyful discoveries and ways of freedom await you. Also, maybe be open to that next stranger who taps you on the shoulder and asks you where you're from. I hope you have a wonderful day.
Do you want to get the happy, healthy life that you want, that you really want, in a compassionate, sustainable, and holistic way, without the pain or strain, even if you've tried everything and it hasn't worked, or you're a complete fitness noob? Become the hero of your own body, health, and life by joining the Healthy Heroes. It's the most sustainably effective, enjoyable, and comprehensive fitness community to help you live your healthiest life and enjoy your fittest body without having to diet, punish yourself, restrict your food, or strain in pain. You can join as soon as today by clicking the link in the show notes. let's become the hero of your own health so that you can enjoy your life to the fullest and express your unique self with the world.